Hello everyone, this is Enzo Eigen of the Alliance for Loki. Yeah, unfortunately yesterday I had a really bad bike accident and I shattered my spine. So I was rushed to the emergency room, and luckily my friend who works for the Swiss Secret Science Bureau was there, and he gave me this injection. He said they were nanobots. They would go right into my bloodstream and actually help repair my damaged spine. And it's been absolutely incredible. A day later, I feel amazing. I feel really strong. I'm totally healthy. My spine doesn't hurt at all. I do feel a little bit mechanical though, but other than that side effect, it's been great. So anyway, here is the tech tier list for 2021 October. And so starting off at the top is none other than the one, the only Ghost. Clearly one of the absolute most amazing, best champions in the game, and she just does so much well, and she's aged very well. If you know, it's 2017 is when she was introduced. She still is almost as good as she was then. Her phasing mechanic is pretty amazing. It's a really good defense ability. The damage she does, the fact that she's unblockable with the right synergies, she can shut down evaders. I mean, she does so much well and does a lot of damage too. Yeah, she's still one of the absolute best champions around. So she's really in a class by herself. And then sort of the next level, I have a couple of really fun champions. Guillotine 2099. She has, of course, the no crit mechanic. She has, Star-Lord Aegon potential with the ramp up at 100 combos. She can power drain. She just has a lot going for her. She has a really nice regen when she gets low health, so she's a great champion. Warlock is also another really cool, unique champion. His infections are just such an effective heal block, and then with his awaken ability, they also do a fair amount of degen, and so he's an incredible champion. Let's see, also on this list at the second tier, I'm going to have to put Vision here. Vision is just such an incredible lockdown champion. I mean, he, again, has really stood the test of time even better than Ghost. He just gets power drained right from the start of the fight instantly, and his SP2 totally power drains them, power locks. I mean, you can use him and the opponent can never gain power at all in the fight or ever have a special in the fight. So he's a very incredible champion as well. After that, we'll skip to the third tier. I know this is going to be a little bit awkward, but I really feel like these three outshine them in on tier 2, and Ghost is just so far above everyone that she sort of gets that own top spot. But on the second level, we have Hulkbuster. After his buff, it's really cool, a lot of damage. Really interesting the way you have to hit into their block with your unblockable to really ramp them up. It's just sort of a fun, clever mechanic. Doc Ock is another champion that has a really cool set of utility, great power lock, really underrated as a power lock. A lot of utility with what you can do with him, and incredible reach off his heavy and just jet attack in general with his tentacles. Another really fun champion, which I've been loving playing more and more, is Guardian, or Vindicator, as his original name was. He's very tanky. He does need Sig 200 to really be at his defensive best. Has the no crit mechanic, which is very cool. Does also parry like the non-contact attacks, which is also another pretty unique ability. So he has 3 really unique abilities, plus his defensive capabilities with his high energy resistance and his great synergy of adding block proficiency to other champions is quite remarkable. Also on this third level, we have Vision Age of Ultron. So at some point, everyone ends up in the debate of which one is better, Age of Ultron or the original. And there's pros and cons either way. Like the Age of Ultron one does a lot what the original one does, but takes a little bit more ramp up. Yet he is better sort of managing your power, where the OG, with the synthesize, the power can get out of control if for some reason you can't really play the way you want to. And so yeah, it sort of goes back and forth, but I still think the OG one is much better. After this, of course I gotta take Stark Spider-Man. I'd almost put him in the second level, to be honest. I like him so much. I'm a little bit biased towards him. I think he, obviously just became a 6-star, and I've been playing him. I have him as rank 3 now. Just a lot of cool mechanics, but the one I like the most is the way that he can almost always evade special attacks. It's just so useful against people with projectile attacks and people with really difficult special evades, or if you just make a mistake and forget or miss it. He has saved me many a times just based on that sort of special ability. Let's see any more in this third label. Of course, Sentinel. Sentinel is one of these champions where everyone sort of dismisses and doesn't like to play, but actually is amazingly good. And then when you play him, you're like, wow, I was wrong. He is a great champion. So yeah, just a lot of utility. He is a ramp up champion to get his analysis charges, but once he ramped up, oh boy, it's very powerful, very sustainable, and very cool. Let's see, any more for the second tier? Penny Parker, she's a champion I have not played much, but I hear lots and lots of good things about her. Just the way she's, has some really interesting utility, very clever. It's hard for me to even speak about it just because I've played her so little. I did pull as a 6-star and awaken her from the feature, so I need to start playing her some just to figure her out. But from what I've heard, she is very good. Okay, and after this, let's see, I think we're ready to go to the fourth tier. So the fourth tier is very usable, good champions who are interesting and cool, but just quite aren't in the main part of the meta. So we have Iron Man Infinity War. For a long time was one of the best defenders, really crazy cool champion. As an attacker, he's also interesting, has a lot of utility, armor breaks, the plasmas are pretty cool. If you get into trouble, the auto block can help you too, so he's a really good champion. Also in this level, Ultra, actually no, Ultra needs to be up at least on the third level. I could even make an argument for him on the second level. He is a really, really powerful champ. The buff has done him so well. He's just so cool, good damage, great regen, just lots of interesting mechanics as well. Of course, a robot, so he can work fairly well with suicides, and yeah, he's a great champion. But the damage he puts out right now is pretty insane with the way you can stack it up when you get the furies and all the bleeds. It is a little bit out of control, maybe a bit bugged, but as he stands now, an incredible champion. Okay, back on the fourth level. Let's see who else is on the fourth level. Might be a very short list. Star-Lord, the original Everest champion. Could ramp up his combos so good, does so much damage. Hasn't quite stood the test of time like some other champions. It's like Aegon and maybe even Strife and a few others, and Guillotine far outweigh him in their usefulness as far as that type of champion now, but still can be very useful. Civil Warrior, he is an interesting buff and getting a lot of love in For Loki. I find him okay to play. I don't think he's anything exceptional, but still has a lot of use in this game. Same with Vulture. The buff was really good for him. Definitely made him a better champion. Some interesting power, not drain, but power steal mechanics now that he has, and so yeah, he's definitely much better. Silver Centurion, again a champion I have little or no experience with, but people seem to be enjoying him, so I'll put him on the fourth tier. Nimrod, as a defender he looks good. In certain matchups as in offense he's good, especially against mutants, and so he seems to have some use in this game, and almost is a little bit like the Torch versus Mystics, the way he is against mutants, but not quite as good. And after that, anyone else in this group, I guess Punisher 299 deserves to be in there. Really like his battery mechanic. It is pretty interesting. The best part is if they get to an SP3, he automatically power drains them, so you could make a mistake and he'll bail you out. A little bit hard to control and manage the way his power gains on the battery, so it just goes up, and then you're in overcharge mode and it goes down, and so you have to play around that, and it's not quite as on demand as other abilities of other champions. Mysterio I'd probably still put here too. He's just sort of an all-around interesting champion. Used to use him a lot with the Emma synergy. Has the poison, has the power drain, has the damage reflect. So he has all these cool pieces of kit on him that all can be useful. Has the passive heal block, which can be really good in certain situations, and for a time was pretty unique for champions. And okay, is that going to do it? I think so. Off we go to our fourth tier. I actually might put Darkhawk in here. Darkhawk is really good. I've always liked him. I've always thought he's one of the most beautiful champions. His pink color along with the dark blue and gray is so sweet, and again, he doesn't have anything really exceptional, but his auto block is nice and his different abilities are useful, and I think he's very, very playable. Okay, now for our final tier. Well, actually, no, Nebula with her buff. Haven't played her. Well, I haven't had the buff yet, but I've always liked her, and I've always said that she needs to ramp up those shock charges quicker, and now that she does, I think she's going to be an amazing, great champion. Oh, not amazing, great, basically a very usable champion. Okay, now I think we're ready for the 4th tier. Iron Man Infinity, not Iron Man, War Machine. I think he deserves to be in the 4th tier. Let's bump him up a tier. The buff has been good to him. Again, I don't think he really has anything exceptional to him, but at least it's fun, much more playable, and actually does reasonable damage. His friends, though, the other Iron people, or Iron Men, are not good at all. So very outdated, very old, very clunky. It's Iron Patriot and the original Iron Man. Psycho Man, he is... I want to like him, and if you could only infinitely chain his heavies together, which you could almost do, except he takes a small step back each time by the 6th or 7th one you miss, because you can turn off a champion's specials with one of his abilities, with one of his debuffs. He could have been great, but he isn't. Yandu, yeah, again, he has nothing that you would really need that another champion would provide much, much better. Howard the Duck, even post-buff, I still don't think he's that great, and he still makes the most annoying sounds in the game. Lab Ultron, just sort of a trophy champion. Interesting that you get him from completing Labyrinth of Legends. Kang, exactly the same story. Rocket Raccoon, used to be the biggest damage dealer in the game, was absolutely crushing it, and then then time passed, and now he is one of the worst champions in the game. Green Goblin, yeah, he's reasonably good in defense, but I don't really enjoy playing him, and I don't see anyone enjoying playing him, so you never see him. And Red Skull, yeah, of course, sort of the same. Has a little bit interesting, unique ability with the way you can hinder his block and his armor's power drain. So you can sort of like have people kill themselves by hitting you, but no one really plays him or uses him. And so that's it. I think this is going to be one of the more interesting classes with the tiers, just because, with the ghost above everyone, it really is skewed a little bit. I would say, if you sort of made her almost like a 0 tier, then you would have the other ones. But I mean, the difference between tier 2 and 3 is pretty minimal. I'd say all those champions are pretty interchangeable, and I probably could put them all there. But I definitely think Guillotine, Warlock, and Vision are a good step above the champions in tier 3, just because they have such strong, unique abilities. 4, perfectly fine, fun to play, but nothing too exceptional. And 5, yeah, I just don't see any, or rare to see any gameplay with any of these. So there you have it. That's the tech tier list, and that concludes my tier list series. I might do one more on like the Masters of All tier list. Take all the top 1 and 2s of all the classes and make sort of an ultimate tier list. And so there it is. So I hope you enjoyed this series and this video, and I'll see you again in another one soon. Bye bye.